Lyle, it's so good to see you. Thanks for joining me today. I'd love to get your insight on what motivated you and prompted you to seek a career coach.
I've had coaching in the past, Shelley, that was extremely effective, and it was quite a few years ago. And I felt a need as a result of coming out of this last position that an objective third party with deep professional skills and roots would really be able to help kind of guide the next steps of my career. And I received a personal recommendation from a friend, and that seemed to make a lot of sense. So I took that step and enlisted you as my professional career coach.
So tell us a little bit about what your program entailed and what working with me was like.
The program had several different elements to it. Things, simple things, but extremely important ones like personal branding, including resume writing, creating an effective LinkedIn profile and doing appropriate posting. It included other professional branding elements so that when I went into interview processes, I was able to really articulate my core skill sets, my key elements that would make me a valuable asset to a potential company, and those types of things. And then also relative to that overall career development process, things that I should look for from a negotiation standpoint: salary, other types of compensation, variable compensation, so on, and how to really position myself to manage those in the most effective way. And then the other thing that was really significant as part of this program was being introduced to positive intelligence. And that was frankly a very, very transformative activity for me. I was part of an 8-person cohort, and with a personal accountability partner in that process. And that activity really helped me a lot, all the way from the initial skeptical week one of understanding self-command through extending the PQ course, actually past our coaching activity into my own personal growth process, which I'm still going through even today. So that was really a very important part of this overall coaching process.
Can you tell us a little bit about how positive intelligence aligned with how you were taking that next step of wondering what your next chapter might be and really leaning into your vision and purpose?
The PQ process, or the positive intelligence process, provided me with a very structured and objective framework into which I could rediscover and re-empower myself with my own personal gifts, capabilities, skills, and so on, including things like looking at the elements of the PQ process, understanding a judge, understanding the saboteurs, understanding the sage self. And those things really helped me kind of break out of the mold that I had allowed myself to be in through my last assignment, and really extend myself and to really be creative and to dream big and to put into practice, not only professionally, but in my entire personal experience, some of those really key elements that really define who we are in our essence. So one of those elements of the PQ process is really rediscovering, I should say, our core essence and how we are created to really be exceptional. And so that really helped me to be able to look beyond what I might have been seeing as a result of, we'll call them having blinders on, but being so focused in a singular role for a period of time, and really be able to look outside of that much more broadly in terms of potential next steps. So as I look at this from a very practical standpoint, and I looked at potential executive positions that I was seeking out, one of them that was presented to me, which was the one I won and I'm now employed, really gave me a sense of not limiting myself, but able to really go into that process with full creativity, full confidence, and the ability to actually win that process, which I did, and I've started that job now.
So throughout your process, you were not only in the positive intelligence community, but I was able to help you network into other communities. What was the impact of that? And tell us a little bit about how you leverage these communities to find those hidden jobs and fast pace or fast track your job search.
The networking process is extremely important. Building rapport and being in that community, I think, is extremely important because it enables you to connect and build relationships with people in a wide variety of demographic career spaces, people with parallel or tangential skill sets, people in completely different skills and experience with completely different skills and experiences. And in that process, I think it's truly an empowerment element that helps you to overcome any types of fears, apprehensions, or lack of confidence to really pursue something that you want to go after. And so in my particular case, I applied for several positions, but the two positions that I really pursued aggressively were hidden jobs. They were not jobs that were posted. They were not jobs that were available to the general public. And I was able to reach out to people in order to really find those positions, contact those key executive hiring managers, and then pursue those jobs.
How quick was your job search? What was the total amount of time it took you from the point that you left your past employer until you started your new job?
Well, the time frame was 3.5 months from walk out the position in one job and walk into the first day of the new job. The interesting thing to me was the interviewing process. I, as a more experienced individual with significant amount of job history, I went through a series of significant interviews. In the job offer that I did actually receive, I went through an 8-step interview process. I interviewed 8 separate times with different people, including a panel interview of all the key stakeholders in the last interview, including the development and presentation of a business strategy.
Sure.
And so, that's typical for people in my position with my experience level and the types of positions that I'm seeking. And so the time frame I thought was actually pretty fast. In terms of overall calendar time. The actual time required to interview for these 2 positions that I did, and I went through 7 interviews with one company and 8 with the other. There was a significant amount of preparation work, a significant amount that was necessary to best position myself to win those opportunities. Every interview was extremely positive, very collaborative. It was more of a discovery process than an interview process. I mean, we kind of threw away the script, and once a question or 2 were asked and answered, we moved into really much more of an innovative dialogue approach. Not so much, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? No, here's my CV. Here's my experience and capability. What are the things that are going to really make me a great fit for this company in this position? So we quickly moved past, as a result of these processes, quickly moved past that more traditional interview process into a highly collaborative and innovative approach, which was really interesting and fun.
I love that. So what advice would you give to high-level professionals like you?
I think it's important to have in your life individuals, organizations, people that you can bounce ideas off, use as a mirror to reflect kind of where you're at in your career, and then really be able to shed any kind of the constraints or restraints that oftentimes we saddle ourselves with in order to really be free to approach a new career position with vigor, with creativity, and no limitations. Obviously, there's some things that I can say I can do this and I know I can't, but in my field of view, in my historical perspective, having that freedom to really pursue things with confidence is an extremely important element of being successful. And in that process, having somebody that you can talk to, a coach, as an example, and have the ability to reflect back that information to give you that objective feedback and perspective, I think is extremely important.
Well, I'm super proud of you for going deep. And that's a lot of the work that I do, is really focusing on those values and then mental fitness. And it's been such a pleasure working with you and seeing how you have really conquered those limiting beliefs and approached each day with kind of a new stride in your step and skip with where you want to go. And so I wish you the best of luck with your new position. It's been such a pleasure working with you.